That's EpiPen right there. The guy in the picture is EpiPen. You know, Jeffrey EpiPen. And that is Melania Trump's alleged daughter. Her last name is Noss.
For people who haven't been following that, Brina Naus is a young lady who it's speculated that she could be Melania's daughter.
Yes.
So, just in case, because I keep getting people in the chat after the show is over, like, can you put this on a big screen? Because I wasn't able to see it. So I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to put on a big screen because some of you are going to tell me in the comments I wasn't able to see it. So I'm going to play this one more time because that's what people usually say after the show's over. So I'm going to put it on a big screen, and then we're going to move on. Because some people didn't get this in the beginning. So this is Brina Noss, and Melania Trump's last name, her maiden name is Noss. And this is allegedly her daughter, who is now a DJ, a popular DJ. And there is alleged reports that the father of this girl is none other than Jeffrey EpiPen. And I'm saying the wrong name on purpose. And to everybody watching, you see that I listen because y'all have came in the comments saying, hey, can you put that on the big screen? I'm doing it for you. So I'm listening. Look at their lips, like the side of their lips, the ridge of their lips. You see that? And remember, this is back in the 80s, I believe so.
For people who haven't been following that, Brina Naus is a young lady who it's speculated that she could be Melania's daughter.
Yeah.
And just to do the timeline, because we got a lot more to talk about, but I wanted to start with this because some of the people didn't watch the last video that I did on this. From a timeline perspective, Melania was 15YO. Okay. Jeffrey EpiPen was 33YO, 33 years old. She was 15YO. Right now, Melania Trump, you know, when she was a kid. Now, Melania Trump is 55 years old. And guess how old Bree, whatever her name is, Noss? She is 40. So her alleged daughter is 40 years old. Melania is 55 years old. And you already know what that means. And there is reports, and it may not be true, but I believe it's true. EpiPen got somebody pregnant at 15YO because that person now is 55 years old and the daughter is 40. So I just want y'all to get an understanding of what's going on. And I'm about to go super deep. So make sure to drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Who's in here? Drop your city in the chat or drop your city in the comments.
Okay. And she sort of showed up out of nowhere, and she's a DJ or something.
Well, let me just say how I came across Brina.
Okay.
When the very first time I ever searched Paolo Zampoli in Google.
And I'm also going to connect all of this to Erika Kirk also, because Erika Kirk and Melania Trump are extremely connected to all of this. All right. And the main difference between Erika Kirk and Melania Trump is that Melania Trump was a model, but Erika Kirk was an alleged handler of models. So one was a model and the other one was a handler of the models. All right. So other than that, that is the main difference, but a lot of similarities.
The third thing down was a picture of Brina Naus.
Okay.
And so it was like something, it was put in front of me for a reason. And I went down that rabbit hole. And when I jumped down that rabbit hole, the two key things is was born several minutes from where, 40 minutes from where Melania grew up. She came out of nowhere and became a superstar DJ.
As one will.
And this is the reason why Melania Trump came out and did that weird, strange press conference out of nowhere when nobody asked her anything. It's because there's a young lady named I forgot her name. Just give me a second.
Yeah, as we all do. And I just was reading some accounts online because everybody. I just did it this week on Reddit. People have been talking about this story for a while, and I'm like, I went in there and I said, I'm not, because some guy's like, I saw some random guy talking about this Brina Naus girl, blah blah blah, on Twitter.
Amanda Ungaro, yeah, Amanda Ungaro. She's like blowing this whole thing up.
And then I went in there the other day. I'm like, I'm that guy.
Oh, that's me. That's me. I'm the
but like I've also seen other articles where people I saw this guy talking about it, but so it's interesting. And nobody's ever been able to debunk it. Just like I've dove farther than anybody.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, so let me give you a little bit more understanding of what's going on.
Melania Trump did that unplanned.
So I'm just putting everything together for the people who are watching this and they have no idea who these characters are. Just want to give y'all some context, and then we're going to get into the weeds in a minute.
We're starting to learn a lot more about why Melania Trump did that unplanned, unannounced, and frankly, unhinged press conference on Thursday. We've learned now that it was most likely Amanda Ungaro's post from earlier that morning that triggered Melania. Here's what Amanda said. Hello, Melania. I was around you for 20 years. You knew I was inside ICE, and you know what hurts after all this time? I stayed close to your family, your mother and your father, not because of you, but because of them, at events and everything else. So shut your mouth when speaking about me. Because
everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
Everybody make sure to hit the thumbs up button. I'm not going to keep reminding y'all. I'm just going to keep going, because a lot of y'all be like, yo, it gets on my nerves. But make sure to hit the thumbs up button, because that brings more people in here. So if you want more people in the chat hanging out, you hit the like button, you'll bring in about 500 more people within the next 10 minutes. So make sure to hit the thumbs up button.
I will expose everything I know. She went on to make even more powerful statements. I have nothing left to lose in my life. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me, bitch. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I am not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, of what you are and who your husband is. We'll take legal action against you and your PDF husband.
And this woman's name is Amanda Ungaro, and she has known Donald Trump and Melania Trump for over 20 years. And you're about to get the context in which why she's so mad. All right, because some people are watching and you probably are a little confused on all this.
Look, I'm sure a convicted felon like Donald Trump has accusations like this leveled against him all the time. But what makes Amanda's accusation so critical is because of who she is, what she knows, and what she's been through to get this pissed off. Just for a moment, let's put ourselves in Amanda's shoes. What could possibly motivate her to threaten the most powerful couple in the world with some of the most heinous crimes imaginable? Well, here's the answer in a nutshell. Her ex-boyfriend, Paolo Zampoli, a very close friend of Trump, had her deported so he wouldn't have to pay her child support payments. And this nightmare began for Amanda in June of last year when she was arrested in Miami on fraud-related charges tied to a spa where she worked at, and she pleaded not guilty. The evidence they used against her were videos they say they found on her phone. Very sketchy. Here's how Amanda describes that experience. Officers came into our home at 6 in the morning, pulled me into the hallway in my pajamas with my face turned to the wall, and took our passports, she said. They handcuffed me and my husband in front of my son, who was also taken to the station. Because he's a minor, I had no one to leave him with. Amanda was then transferred to the Louisiana ICE Processing Center, and she described it like, I felt we were on display like meat at a butcher shop. And at the time, she was going through a nasty custody dispute over her teenage son with her estranged partner, the infamous Paolo Zampoli, who we're all learning so much about, and his modeling agency and his ties to Donald Trump. And it was reported by the New York Times that it was Zampoli who contacted a senior ICE official and informed them that Amanda, his ex, was on an expired visa. Now, keep in mind that Zampoli at the time had the position of U.S. Special Envoy because of his relationship with Trump. So he was very well connected, and he was enraged by the fact that Amanda was requesting the courts give her full custody of their son, a decision that could have resulted in years of child support payments. So while Amanda was in custody from her original arrest,
just to avoid child support payments, he called ICE on this woman. And it's even worse because I'm going to get into who Paulo Zampoli actually is also. So today we're connecting all of the dots to make sure everybody has clarity, because I try to read my comments and some people are like, who is this person and what does this person have to do with this? So I'm connecting all the dots today. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button.
She gets picked up by ICE and placed into federal custody, where she remained there for 4 months until she got deported to Brazil, where she remains there as of today. According to reports, her teenage son has been able to visit her in Brazil, but he remains in the U.S. with his father. So just imagine, if you will, the furious rage and anger that Amanda must be feeling after having been separated from her son, from her life for 4 months, and then being deported to Brazil, where she is now in a legal battle trying to get back to the U.S. And all of this was from a crazy ex-boyfriend who's helping the president cover up some of the most horrendous crimes of our lifetime. So not only is she pissed off that she had to spend 4 months of her life in an ICE detention facility, but she was also placed there to stay quiet about Trump's crimes. And now Amanda has a team of lawyers. She's fearless on social media, and there's even rumors circulating that she'll be meeting with the House Oversight Committee. How does that saying go? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Okay, so let's get into who Paulo Zampoli, whatever his name is. Check this out.
And as I make sense of how we got.
Okay. And this young lady is brilliant. Her name is Becca Day, Bekahday on TikTok. She is brilliant.
So I found this old photo of Paolo Zampoli and Melania Trump back when they were in Italy. And as I make sense of how we got from Milan to the White House, I really started looking at both Paolo and Donald's business models. And it's very interesting because both of these men used the exact same architecture to build their empires. Paolo and Trump were nearly in stride with.
So Paulo and Trump started off together, and the pipeline that I titled this show about is the orphan to model to recruiter pipeline. That's how these girls, and some of them end up their wives. So Melania Trump was getting just, ran through by different dudes that had money in this circle, and Donald Trump allegedly decided to wife her up, and everybody was looking at her like she was crazy. But like he was crazy because he's just like, yo, we just all ran through this woman. Why would you make her your wife? What are you doing? So yeah, all this is so just crazy.
one another when it came to business. Once Paulo brought Melania to the United States, he founded ID Models, which he turned into an international modeling agency. And right around the same time, Donald Trump would create Trump Models, which he would attempt to turn into an international modeling agency as well. Another thing that Donald Trump and Paulo's business empires would have in common would be the real estate aspect. Donald Trump had the Trump Organization, which is how he built his real estate empire, and Paulo would work at the Trump Organization briefly while he was also managing ID Models after he had introduced Donald Trump to Melania. Donald Trump encouraged Paulo to create his own real estate empire, thus teaming up with Paulo to create Paramount Realty Group. So as you can see, they were very much in the same market when they were actively building their empires. Paramount Realty Group was a shamelessly exploitative business model. What Paulo would do is he would take models who were represented by him through ID Models and use them to help him sell expensive and luxurious homes. The reason that he did this is because he believed that young, beautiful models would sell more than buttoned up professionals. Despite both Paulo and Donald Trump raking in tons of cash between both of their modeling ventures and their real estate ventures, which sometimes had crossover, they were regularly being sued for not paying their models appropriately or not paying their models at all, and just keeping the profit that the models make that are signed underneath them for themselves. Both ID Models and Trump Models would be expected to socialize around wealthy and powerful friends of both Paulo and Donald under the guise of it being an opportunity to advance their career. And in reality, Donald and Paulo were just exploiting the access they had to these young women. Between ID Models and Trump Models, everything was very shady from top to bottom.
And let me stop right there. The exploitation of these young women are the reason why I do this. The exploitation in particular. So I'm going to do another show about Nickelodeon, where what a lot of people don't realize is, like, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but Nickelodeon, as an example, is how the exploitation of young people is so prevalent, because a lot of us grew up watching Nickelodeon, right? But unbeknownst to you, or some of you, Nickelodeon was the exploitation of young people, because guess what? Dan Snyder was, diddling a lot of them, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you're aware of Nickelodeon and Dan Snyder and the whole Nickelodeon story. Let me know if you are aware of that. Hold on 1 second. I got to fix something. Hold on 1 second, and then boom. Okay, cool. Put a 1 in the chat if you're aware of Nickelodeon. So for anybody that's new here, I focus on exploitation, and anybody that is in the business of exploiting young people, I like to call them out. So yeah, it's crazy. So you may look at this as two men that got rich off of modeling agencies, but they weren't even paying the damn girls, and they were getting the girls the same way as Erika Kirk was doing. Because like I said, in my opinion, it seems like, because I want to watch my words, Erika Kirk was a recruiter in some type of way. So the way, because if you think about Donald Trump and this guy, Zampoli, the majority of the models came from where? Other countries. They came from Romania, right? Different places like that, right? And the key to this is, where are these girls coming from? And who is supplying them with the girls? People like Erika Kirk and Lori Franzve. People like them, or them in particular. So Erika Kirk and her mom would open up a Romanian Angels orphanage over in Romania. And people all over the world, in Dubai, or doing stuff like this, right? In Russia, they would open up these orphanage places, right? But where do they get the little girls from? Women who have gotten pregnant inadvertently by R-wording or just being young and fast, and their parents would kick them out, because that's a thing that happens. And we're going to talk about the parents also. So the parents would kick the young girl out because she got pregnant. And back in the 80s, if you remember, that was a real thing. If you got pregnant in the 70s and the 80s, you get kicked out. You're just out. They don't even, your own parents don't even care where you go. So your parents will literally kick you out and you ain't got nowhere to go. So you'll go to this church, orphanage, helping facility. And we're going to talk about that also. And next thing you know, you go to this facility thinking they're going to help you, and then they end up taking your child. They try to give you an option. Hey, we're here to help. And next thing you know, you're like, oh, thank you, because I'm having this child. Because remember, we're looking at the exploitation of younger women, right? So next thing you know, we need to know how they are finding the young women. Two different ways. Straight up orphanages like Erika Kirk and Lori Fronsby, or young women that are pregnant and have gotten kicked out of their homes. And then they'll go to this facility that would, facilitate a safe space for a young pregnant teen. And then the place would literally house the young teen because they got kicked out. And next thing you know, when the woman has the baby, guess what? They would take the damn baby and then they would send the baby into the foster care system. And the foster system, put a 1 in the chat if you're aware of the foster system being alleged tadpole traffic light type of thing. I got to be careful. So traffic and then tadpoles, so y'all know what I'm saying, right? But put a 1 in the chat if you're aware that the foster system is literally how young women and young boys are exploited, because they get paid to go to different places so the adults can do, man, it's so much. Because Sasha Riley, because I'm going farther and farther out, Sasha Riley was exploited. If y'all know who Sasha Riley is, I did a video on that. Sasha Riley was exploited by who? His adopted parents. So these weirdo people would go adopt kids and then would hold them out to people that has money. And we're going to go into all of this. I'm just trying to slow it down, but this is what all we're talking about. So I'm giving y'all the understanding of the single mother to orphan to model to recruiter pipeline.
At every avenue, including when these young girls were just trying to do the jobs that they signed up to do, the job the bottom. Exploitation at every avenue, including when these young girls were just trying to do the jobs that they signed up for, model, work with photographers. Just for one example, we can use the photographer Terry Richardson, who was hired to specifically work for Trump models, but is fairly well known within the modeling industry. Here's a photo of Terry Richardson and Ivanka Trump, which will probably send shivers down your spine when you hear what Terry Richardson has been accused of. Back in the early to mid 2000s, I believe it was 2004, there was a 22-year-old model who was brought from Spain to New York City to...
See, from Spain to New York City, that's what they do. That's exactly what they do. They find people or young girls that are just in bad situations, and they will bring them to New York City, put them all into a hotel and say, you're going to get an opportunity to be a model if you do this or if you do that. And of course, they don't know no better. They're going to be like, okay.
Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
but I'm covering everything because this is absolutely nuts. What is going on?
Work for Trump models. She would unfortunately go on to be SA'd by Trump models photographer Terry Richardson. And horrifically, Terry Richardson would photograph the entire time that he was violating her. This young model who literally came to the United States because she believed she had a chance at having a modeling career, also recalled other employees cheering on Terry as he violated her, and some were even taking out their cameras and taking photos as well. The morning after this 22-year-old model was violated by Terry and other employees at Trump Models, she reported this to a manager, and she was told by the managers at Trump Models that Terry Richardson's behavior was common, and due to his prominence in the industry, she should overlook what he did to her and continue to work with him. After this deeply traumatizing event, this young woman would fly back to Spain from the United States, and to her horror, she would later find out that not only did Terry Richardson photograph her being violated, but he published these photos of him violating her into a photo gallery lookbook, and it had been sold to a private collector. So just
Damn. Man, this is crazy.
really disgusting, exploitative, dirty business happening underneath friends Donald Trump and Paolo Zampoli. While diving into how Paolo and Donald Trump ran their modeling agencies alongside their real estate companies back in the day, I stumbled across an article that was in the Gawker archive. In this article, Paolo Zampoli insinuates that his models that are signed to him are working girls, amongst many other things. But there was one woman's name in this article that caught my eye. So this article starts out discussing the exploitative business model of Paramount Realty Group that is owned by Paolo Zampoli. This article also reveals to us that the 2001 photo of Bill Clinton taken with Paolo Zampoli and a young model was one of Paolo Zampoli's ID models whom he introduced.
And somebody asked, why hasn't these people been held accountable? Well, something that a lot of you may not know is, how do I say this? Everybody's doing it. It's okay. During a recession, when nobody has money, the way the government, the way the economy stays up is through the exploitation of coochie, I'll just say. All right. So when you look at every commodity on earth, every commodity goes away. When you put gas in your car, gas burns off and you need more gas. When you buy some food, you eat the food and the food is gone. When you drink water, when you drink the water, it's gone. There's more water, but you can't drink it because it has stuff in it, right? So you can't just go find some water. You have to find drinkable water. So drinkable water, once you drink it, it's gone, okay? So virtually every commodity, when you buy some tires, the tire tread goes away. Now you need more tires. Every commodity goes away and is gone. But there's one commodity that when used never goes away. Does anybody want to know what that commodity is? Does anybody want to take a guess? What is the one commodity on earth that once used or utilized, it never goes away? Oil, no. Come on, y'all. And I'm using commodity loosely. What is the one commodity? Because I'm trying to answer a question. Why these people are not being held accountable? People. Once you work the job, you go home and you go back and work. So labor and your body. Coochie. Kitty. Yeah. Y'all are saying all kinds of stuff. Y'all are saying cat. Y'all are not oxygen. Oxygen is not a commodity. We don't use commodity, but your bodies. Okay. So when you look at the exploitation of people, there are two different things. It's labor and it's coochie. Okay. So for those of you who are saying, why don't these people get held accountable? Well, traffic trafficking is $1 billion per year. I think it's a $30 billion per year industry. And the government, as we're talking about it now, because Zampoli is right up under Trump. He's a part of the government. Trump is part of the government. This is how they pay their bills. So I'll say it again. This is how they pay their bills. When you don't buy cars, hair supplies, clothes, bags, groceries, because you ain't got no money, the way the government stays up, the way the economy continues to run is they sell rich men who got all the money girls. Okay? Because coochie never goes away. And the younger the young lady is, the longer the lifespan is of the coochie. Sorry, I'm just helping y'all understand. All right. So there's a lifespan of coochie. So when you get the orphan, and then you bring the orphan, raise the orphan or whatever, and next thing you know, you turn around, and when she gets old enough, she goes to America and ends up in a modeling agency. And that's the answer. So, yeah. So hopefully that gives y'all an understanding of why these people are not being held accountable. It's how the economy is being maintained when nobody else is buying anything, because y'all already know gas prices are high. The economy is in a tank. So coochie is holding the economy up. Wait. What in the world? Hold on, y'all. Something happened. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see me and hear me. Something just happened to my computer. Oh, shit. I don't know what just happened. All right, so I got to do something real quick. Hold on. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see me and hear me. Something just went haywire on my computer. Damn, I got to do all this all over again. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see me. Okay, y'all can still see me? All right, cool. Damn.
Trump back when they were in Italy. And as I make sense of how we got from Milan to the White House, I really started looking at both Paolo and Donald's business models, and it's very that are signed to him are working girls, amongst many other things. Right. But there was one woman's name in this article that caught my eye. So this article starts out discussing the exploitative business model of Paramount Realty Group that is owned by Paolo Zampoli. This article also reveals to us that the 2001 photo of Bill Clinton taken with Paolo Zampoli and a young model was one of Paolo Zampoli's ID models, whom he introduced to Bill Clinton. But what really caught my eye about this article was this line right here. ID model Ariana Musinska also spent time as arm candy for alleged masseuse fan Jeffrey Epstein. If that name sounds familiar to you, you have probably seen her photo before. Because Ariana wasn't just arm candy to Jeffrey. She was an ID model signed by Paolo Zampoli, who would go on to be named as a co-conspirator in the 2008 sweetheart deal of Jeffrey's. Ariana Musinska, sometimes known as Ariana Ross, was just 18 years old when Jeffrey flew her from Poland to Florida for her to work at his Palm Beach mansion, and she would also have a career opportunity in modeling for Paolo Zampoli. While Ariana was working for Jeffrey and modeling for Paolo, she was Jeffrey's scheduler for his massage appointments and would also recruit other young girls to come be victimized by Jeffrey, which is why she, along with 4 other women, were named as co-conspirators in Jeffrey's 2008 sweetheart deal. And like we've talked about before, a handful of teens and young women who started out being victimized by Jeffrey did go on to become complicit in his ring, but that does not take away the fact that they were victimized, nor does it minimize the harm that they caused to other young women. And
okay, so we're looking at the pipeline, how they make it to these disgusting people in the beginning. It's by their mothers. It's by their fathers. All right. So a lot of, before abortion was a thing or a big thing or whatever, when a young woman ends up pregnant and she doesn't know what to do, she gives her child up for adoption. And then the adoption agency, the CPS or whoever, that's part of the pipeline. All right. So now I want to explain the other part of the adoption pipeline, because it gets so much worse. Wait, I lost. Okay, here it is right here. So this is how the child gets away from the mother. Check this out.
Place for young single pregnant women is defending itself against allegations of coercion and manipulation.
A new podcast called Liberty.
Oh, let's start it.
The Liberty Godparent Home, a place for young single pregnant women, is defending itself against allegations of coercion and manipulation.
A new podcast called Liberty Lost alleges some of the young women felt pressured to place their children for adoption.
The Liberty Godparent Home is tucked away on Liberty Mountain Drive.
And this is partly where churches actually come in, because a lot of these little places are connected to churches.
Maternity home was founded by Jerry Falwell Sr.
Maternity home, yeah.
As part of a pro-life ministry at Thomas Road Baptist Church. Now it's the focal point of the podcast, Liberty Lost.
What inspired you to investigate this in the first place?
For the last
See, a lot of times people forgot, a lot of younger people, there was a point where birth control did not exist. Abortions never existed a long time ago. So when something happened and a girl ended up being pregnant for whatever reason, she gives the child up for adoption, or she gets kicked out of her house or her mom's house because mom don't play that mess. And they go to these little they call them paternity homes.
2 years, I've been investigating the maternity home after connecting with several residents who went through the home as pregnant teenage girls, both in the 1990s and in 2008.
One of those residents, Abby Johnson. At 16, she got pregnant.
Finding out I was pregnant was traumatic and shocking, and not something I had any preparation for mentally, socially, emotionally.
Her parents sent her across the country to Liberty Godparent Home with the promise of a scholarship to Liberty University after all was said and done.
I really can't describe the sense of abandonment and fear and disassociation that you experience when your family abandons you, all the while calling it something like good for you and like this is a plan.
Johnson says she wanted.
So let's stop right there, because that's a very important aspect to all of this. Like I said, how do these young women end up out in this world and getting, trafficked, or getting in, fake modeling agencies, or somebody tries to, bring you into this actress world or whatever. And next thing you know, you get exploited. Young women end up being prostitutes or whatever. It starts with the parents. It starts with the parents. Okay. And this is the reason why I speak on my mother-daughter card game so often, because it starts at home. A lot of fathers, a lot of mothers. And the reason why I talk about the mothers more than the fathers, because most custodial parents are who? Because some of y'all may say, you're attacking mothers, you're attacking single mothers. No. Who is the main custodial parent? Is always the mother, right? There's single fathers out there, but there's a small amount of single fathers. But the majority of us have been raised by our mothers first and our fathers second, or not our fathers at all. Okay. So because the custodial parent is always usually the mother, that is the main focal point that I try to make sure that I address. Okay. So my mother-daughter card game, and the link is in the chat for you to buy, is meant to help mothers and daughters build or rebuild their relationships, due to the fact that when she was a young girl, she and her mother did not get along. And a lot of you put a 1 in the chat if you were put out before the age of 18 by your mother. I'll say it again. Put a 1 in the chat if you were put out of your mother's house before the age of 18. If you were put out of your mother's house before the age of 18, put a 1 in the chat and you'll see the ones. And I have no idea, but I already know that it happens so much. You don't forgive your mother. You're angry at your mother. You have resentment towards your mother. And because of the resentment that you have towards your mother, you take it out on men that you date, and you take it out on your own kid. And you become either this helicopter mom, and you become this mother that is so in your kid's business where they feel smothered because you're so afraid that you'll become your mother where you don't want to be like your mother. So you become opposite of your mother, but you're now this helicopter mom, and you end up pushing your daughter away, and she ends up leaving instead of getting put out. Right? And for somebody in the chat said, where's the father? Well, that's the problem. In most cases, the father's not there. And that's why this conversation needs to be had. Y'all don't want to have it because y'all want to blame the man, but no, that's not how life works. So what this mother-daughter card game does, it gives the daughter her questions to finally be able to ask her mother, where was my dad? Why didn't you and my dad work out? And it gives the mother an equal amount of questions to ask the daughter. So the thing about it is, nobody wants to have this conversation with their mothers. Nobody wants to have this conversation about their own mothers. But the thing about it is, if we don't heal from within by speaking to our mothers, or for the women who have daughters, we're never going to break this cycle. Because so many of you women are like, oh, what about the fathers? What about the men? Oh, you're a bastard. No, we have to have these conversations with our mothers, because the reason why trafficking is a $1 billion industry is because of mothers. Mothers are giving their children up to the foster care system. Mothers are kicking their daughters out of the household and they end up going into modeling. They end up going into prostitution. They end up becoming strippers. So it's so many things that y'all don't want to talk about, but they have to be talked about. The mother is one of the reasons why trafficking is so rampant in America. Inadvertently, not blaming. I'm just speaking of fact. And the reason why it's mothers and not fathers is because most children are raised by the mother and not the father. Okay. All right. So make sure to get your card game so you can fix your issues, so you can break the chain that we break the cycle, I would say. And for any of you saying, oh, you're saying you dislike women. No, I want you to think about how stupid that sounds. I wouldn't create this card game. I wouldn't spend thousands of dollars creating this card game to help you if I hate you. So you sound stupid by saying you sound like you hate women. I wouldn't make this damn card game if I hated women. Use your brain. All right. So click the link and get your mother-daughter card game so we can break these cycles, so we won't keep having this situation, because y'all have to understand, every 30 days, women go missing. Do you want to know how many women go missing? 22,000 women go missing every 30 days. I'll say it again. 22,000 women go missing every 30 days. How? Some of them get snatched up at gas stations. Some of them get snatched up over here. But a lot of them go missing simply because their parents didn't care about them. Their parents put them out. So let's keep going. This is a conversation that nobody wants to talk about, but I'm talking about it because I care. All right. So this is the actual companies that these young girls go to after their parents put them out. So remember, listen to this young woman right here. Her mother and father put her out.
After all was said and done,
I really can't describe the sense of abandonment and fear and disassociation that you experience when your family abandons you, all the while calling it something like good for you and like this is a plan.
Johnson says she wanted to keep her son. However, she felt the home already made the decision to go the adoption route. But she says the godparent home shouldn't have ties to an adoption agency. Shouldn't have ties to an adoption agency. Shouldn't have ties to an adoption agency. According to city records, the godparent home and the Family Life Services Adoption Agency share an address. Thomas Road Baptist Church founded.
Y'all see that, right? So the maternity home is connected to the adoption agency, and that is the pipeline. That is what happens. So a young woman ends up pregnant. She goes for help from a maternity home because her parents kicked her out. And then she goes to a maternity home and they're connected. They profit off of the child because they're connected to an adoption agency. So now this adoption agency takes the girl's child and then sells them to a family. This is literally how the exploitation of young people happen.
Family Life Services, according to their website.
Now, why she was triggered when she heard Erika speaking about Trump pageantry, to connect that dot for you, is because Erika had said, you know, you have to submit.
Okay, so now we're talking about Erika Kirk. We're talking about Erika Kirk here.
Your pictures. Well, she goes back home. She's still a teenager. And 2 years later, she gets an invite to join Trump pageant world.
They used to lock us in our room 24 hours a day. We were locked in our room. We weren't allowed visitors. We weren't allowed.
Okay, hold on. So I want y'all to just remember, I want y'all to hear this part again because this part is important. Erika Kirk was allegedly, I don't have any, this is my opinion. My opinion is that, my opinion, because I don't want to get sued. Erika Kirk was recruiting for Donald Trump before Donald Trump was president. Listen to this again. I'm gonna play this again.
Share an address. Thomas Road Baptist Church found.
Because Erika Kirk worked for Next Model Management. Erika Kirk worked for Next Model Management.
Family Life Services, according to their website.
Now, why she was triggered when she heard Erika speaking about Trump pageantry, to connect that dot for you, is because Erika had said, you know, you have to submit your pictures. Well, she goes back home. She's still a teenager. And 2 years later, she gets an invite to join Trump pageant world.
Y'all hear that, right? She gets an invite to join Trump pageant world. So just keep that in mind.
They used to lock us in our room 24 hours a day. We were locked in our room. We weren't allowed visitors. We weren't allowed people at our home. I didn't have no visitors because I didn't have no family there, of course. I didn't have no family there, so I didn't have nobody.
How old were you?
I had to be 13, 14.
Okay, and who
took
pictures?
I was born 79.
Who took pictures of you?
Senior. And then his face looked familiar, but he looked older now. And you're talking 30 years ago, you know.
Mm-hmm. But Jerry Falwell Sr. was the one actually taking the photos?
Yeah, I remember him.
Okay, so let's stop right there. Do you know who Jerry Falwell is? Who is Jerry Falwell, y'all? Who is Jerry Falwell? I want to make sure, because remember, I'm putting everything together. Who was Jerry Falwell? A lot of you know. He was a preacher. Yes, the preacher. Yes. He was a creepy preacher. Jerry Falwell. He was a mega church preacher. Exactly. So this is what I'm saying right here. And Jerry Falwell is a man. So I'm not just talking about women. I'm talking about men too. Some of y'all don't have a lot of sense. Oh, you're talking about women. Jerry Falwell is a man. I'm talking about men also. So Jerry Falwell is a preacher. And I've said multiple times that mega churches are working for the government, and they are one of the places that, one, set narratives in people's heads, and two, it helps with the world of, the traffic stuff. Okay. So Jerry Falwell owned what's it called? Maternity home. Okay. So Pastor Jerry Falwell and his son owned maternity homes, and the maternity homes also worked in the same building with foster care systems. So young girl gets pregnant, because the parent goes to church. So think about this. The parent is in the church, right? And they're like, yes, Jesus this, Jesus that, right? The parent is in the church, and the parent sets the narrative that if your daughter comes home pregnant, you are to kick her out because she is now unholy. So think about the pipeline. The parent goes to the church, and the Jerry Falwell says, hey, parent, if your daughter ends up pregnant, kick her out and send her to a maternity home, because if she gets pregnant by anybody, she is now unholy. She's not Jesus-like, right? So she's like, okay. So her daughter gets pregnant. She sends her to a maternity home, which is also ran and owned by the pastor that told you to get rid of your daughter if she gets pregnant. This is the pipeline. So she goes to the maternity home. Now she's in the maternity home, and this is the actual audio you hear. And then she has the baby, and they take her baby. Where does the baby go? Next door to the foster care place. And the foster care place is now would send that child to Romania. And now the child is in Romania to get whatever, exploited by people in the military. You know about Romanian Angels. If you know about Otto Buscher, he was a captain of the army. And next thing you know, they do whatever they do with the orphans. And then when the orphan gets old enough, she comes back to America and comes to New York and starts working for Next Model Management, which is ran by Epstein's brother. And the person that ran or allegedly worked for Next Model Management that was under Epstein's brother is none other than Erika Kirk. And then you end up in this pipeline. And part of the reasons why you got there is because the pastor that your mother went to church at told her to get rid of you if you got pregnant. That's the pipeline. And then you end up getting exploited, and you end up being a model, you end up being a stripper, you end up. That's the pipeline, y'all. This shit is crazy. This shit is absolutely crazy. That's the pipeline. The pastor to orphan pipeline, the pastor to daughter getting pregnant, to the the maternity home, to orphan. Ugh.
His wife there, but Another thing weird about it is I never thought about like what happened the night and the morning I delivered my baby. Everything was weird. And I think about it now, it's all weird to me. But then it wasn't because I was only 13, 14 years old.
Right.
I made mistakes. I mean, I totally turned my life around. I have 4 kids now, but 2 grandbabies, but, you know,
Yes, immigration is one also. That's what Biden and them was doing.
I want to go back to, so what was weird about that night that you gave birth?
Oh gosh, the night before, okay, so they have a live-in mother, 24 hours. I called there like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. This is what's weird. I called there, right after I prayed, I called there because this video of Erika came up with Trump, and you have to get invited. And I was like, how in the world did I get invited? And to this day, I still don't know.
Okay, y'all heard that right? This woman is now talking about Erika Kirk. So let's back it up a little bit. She's talking about Erika Kirk here. Listen.
I called there because this video of Erika came up with Trump, and you have to get invited. And I was like, how in the world did I get invited? And to this day, I still don't know how in the world I got invited to that and what pictures they had of me.
Interesting.
Now I'm mistaken again.
Okay.
Just one more time, just in case y'all think I'm reaching. This is a woman that went to a maternity home and got her kid taken away from her. And now she's talking about Erika Kirk.
This is what's weird. I called there, right after I prayed, I called there because this video of Erika came up with Trump, and you have to get invited. And I was like, how in the world did I get invited? And to this day, I still don't know how in the world I got invited to that and what pictures they had of me.
Interesting.
Now I'm mistaken again.
Okay. Okay, so you had the baby, and what was weird about that night?
Okay, the night before like I said, they have house mothers, and I can't remember details, but I remember them doing, putting the probe on, listening to the heartbeat pretty much, and looking at, doing the ultrasound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to this day, I've had, 4 other kids, plenty of ultrasounds, so I know what they were doing was funny to me.
Hold on. YouTube blocked message held for review. YouTube just blocked a message. Oh, here it is right here. Okay. All right, let's read this. Orphan's CEO, who just died mysteriously, was the largest donor to AIPAC by more than 5 times the next highest donor last election cycle. Orphans is part of the exploitation, y'all. I told y'all, like it's all connected. Orphans is connected to the government. They turned around and killed the dude.
Because everything was fine that night, and then they moved me, which was weird. They moved me to another room by myself.
Okay.
At that time, I had another girl with me. There's all these different girls there, and some of them don't even speak English. Okay.
How old are how many girls live in that house?
Back then there was about between 12 and 15 in one house, but
y'all see that, right? 15 people in one house. This is the system. This is the system. This is the pipeline. And just remember how she got there. How she got there. Her parents kicked her out. Her parents gave her to these people. I'll say it again. Her parents or parent gave her to this maternity home. The parent gave her to this maternity home. The parent gave her to this. And the parent was going to the church. And the pastor told the parent that if your child ends up pregnant, kick her out the house because she's unholy. The parent did this.
You're talking anywhere from age 12 to 21 years old,
Mm-hmm. And
somebody said, did he get paid for that? Think about this. The pastor, I forgot his name. Who's the pastor that owns this? Jerry Falwell. Jerry Falwell tells your mom to get rid of you because you got pregnant at a young age. And then your mother gives you to Jerry Falwell's company because he also owns the maternity home. So he owns the church and he guilt trips you into freaking giving your child up. And then your child gives the child up for adoption. And Jerry Falwell owned the adoption agency. So that's how he gets paid. He gets paid 3 times.
Them didn't speak English?
Yeah, there was a couple girls, they didn't speak English, but we weren't allowed to, that's another thing, we weren't allowed to talk to the other girls.
This is slavery. We weren't allowed to talk to the other girls. This is slavery.
We were only allowed, certain girls were on one certain side of the hallway, certain girls were on the other certain side of the hallway. Back then we had to either call collect or use quarters.
Okay.
On a payphone, They didn't allow us to use the regular phones. They treated us like slaves, but the next morning, it's like they knew something was going to happen to my baby or something, because the next morning, I all of a sudden didn't have a heartbeat and I had to go in. But the strange thing about it is their daughter, this is another thing I thought about, their daughter.
So what doctors do, not just places like this, actual doctors, before you have the baby, it's something called an epidural. And let me say this before I say this. Hold on, let me do this. So let me say this before I say this.
Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
Okay. We all know what an epidural shot is, right? So remember, she's pregnant, and while she's in there, they give her a loaded epidural shot to slow down the heartbeat of the baby. So right now, they give her this loaded epidural shot, and now they're like, we don't hear the heartbeat of the baby. And she's like, huh? So that's what's going on right here. So listen to how her baby's heartbeat slows down. They give her a loaded epidural shot.
Didn't have a heartbeat and I had to go in. But the strange thing about it is their daughter, this is another thing I thought about, their daughter is a high doctor at the Liberty or at some university, some hospital in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Lynchburg, Virginia, Liberty University. That's the remember she said Liberty University. That's what this is. Liberty University right here.
The Liberty Godparent Home, a place for young, single, pregnant women, is defending itself against allegations of coercion and manipulation.
So that's Liberty Paternity Home.
Daughter is a high doctor at the Liberty or at some university, some hospital in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Okay.
Paternity home.
And back then, if I remember correctly, their daughter was like one of the house mothers.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if their daughter was like my nurse or nurse lady and gave me something to miscarry because, see,
they gave me some. Remember, she said her child's heartbeat was slowing down, and she said they gave me something. It was a loaded epidural. This is how they do you.
The thing is they coerced us to give up the baby because they got money for their adoption. It was some kind of adoption ring. I didn't know nothing about it. Okay. But
y'all see that, right? So they give you a loaded epidural. Now they turn around and say, oh my God, your child may not make it. And you're like, oh my God, what? Yes, we need to hurry up and get you in here. And you're like, oh, what's going on? Your child may not make it. And then, you give birth and you go under when you're giving birth because they're trying to, make you think something's wrong. And all of a sudden, when you wake up, your baby is gone. And you're like, where's my baby? It didn't make it. And the baby did make it. It's a healthy baby. and they send your baby off to next door to the foster system. And then the foster system sends the baby to Romania to the orphanages so they can raise your baby until the baby is old enough to start, until the child is like 3 or 4, and they 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. And then when the child turns into a teenager, it gets sent back to America and goes to an adoption agency. I mean, not adoption agency, a modeling agency.
My thing was is that I kept telling him, no, I wanted to keep my baby because I had a 3-year-old nephew and I had took care of him. I thought I could mother, and it wasn't for me. Okay. Honestly, I was too young.
You're saying that you miscarried the baby?
Yeah. But I was further along, and they kept telling me I had to hurry up and make up my mind and make up my decision because I'm running out of time. I have to hurry it up. And I'm like, why do I have to hurry it up?
Hurry what up? Hurry what up?
Decide if I want to adopt the baby out. They kept showing me folders of people's faces.
So remember, they're trying to get you or her to make a decision on whether she wants to put the baby up for adoption. And because the girl says, no, I don't want to put the baby up for adoption, they turn around and said, you lost the baby. Think about that. They're like, you got to hurry up. You got to hurry up. Hurry up and what? Sign this paperwork so you can give up the baby for adoption. I don't want to give my baby up for adoption. Oh, okay. The baby didn't make it. So they can take the baby.
Would you like your baby to be with this person, or would you like to go raise your baby somewhere else or on the streets? Or they had to induce the labor. Okay. I had to deliver. So if that tells you I was over 3-4 months. Yeah. I was over.
So let me tell you what is really interesting about this particular conversation. Well, Liberty University is involved, and you hear she broke down crying several times throughout the conversation. There was obviously real pain there. And what's really interesting is that she told me thereafter that while she can pull all of her court records, Liberty University is sort of like, it's all electronic now. You're talking about the 90s. We can't find you. We can't find you. You had a baby in a house when you were 13 years old and we can't find you. They moved you into a room and they induced labor after you said, I don't want to give up my child. They induced labor. They told you, a child, that yourself, that there was no heartbeat, mysteriously, right after you made the decision that you didn't want to give up your child for adoption. You felt like you were being pressured. Now there's no heartbeat. They induce labor. You never see your son. That just said she had a son. She never saw anything. They tell your mom she's got to pick you up ASAP. That's what she goes on to tell me, because they didn't want the other young women to be traumatized learning that she had a miscarriage.
I know this is a lot, and I know this is triggering for a lot of people, but these conversations have to be had. To the Melania Trumps of the world who are, Romanian or Yugoslavian or wherever models that have been brought to America and got exploited, Melania Trump is holding on to a lot of secrets due to the fact that luckily Donald Trump wanted to do more than just fuck on her. He wanted to marry her. So Melania Trump is just lucky that one of the men that were pounding her wanted some more and didn't want nobody else to get it. But Melania Trump is literally just like all these other exploited women. She just luckily got it. What's the word? She just luckily got chose by a man that was pounding her with the rest of the women, pounding, you know what I mean? And he just chose to want to have a kid with her and marry her. And listen to this.
Trump came out and made the statement she did is because a book is being released in the United States.
So hold on. So Melania Trump is a victim just like all these other women, but she got rescued like a puppy. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. She got rescued like a damn puppy. Listen to this.
The reason Melania Trump came out and made the statement she did is because a book is being released in the United Kingdom in 2 days where there's interviews and pieces from interviews where Epstein and Prince Andrew discuss how they were both fucking Melania before she was passed on to Donald and how they were all shocked when he married a paid-for whore. Have a good day.
The first time Donald Trump had sex with Melania was on my plane. This is Epstein talking. Remember how she said in her statement, I was never on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, I was never on his island? Little did he know I beat him to the punch a year before when I was at a party of New York's top models. Things got wild, and by the end of the night, I ended up almost naked in the back of a limo going at it with Melania. That is Jeffrey Epstein claiming that he f***ed Melania before Donald Trump. That's a big claim.
And I'm trying to use different words so YouTube won't flag my video, but somebody's like, what is pounding? Having sex with, okay? Sheesh. Y'all are not following everything that we're talking about. So just to give y'all an understanding for the people who don't understand, a woman, a mother, a woman, a wife of a man or whatever, she goes to church, okay? The crooked pastor programs the woman to say that if your daughter ever comes home pregnant, you are to put her out and send her to a local maternity home because she is unholy because she got pregnant at a young age. This happened all the time in the 80s because there was no such thing as birth control and there was no such thing as abortion, right? So the mother who's programmed by her pastor, by her church to kick her daughter out, the daughter has nowhere to go. So she goes to a maternity home, which is also owned by the same pastor that told the mother of this girl to put her out. She's in a maternity home and it's time for her to have a baby. They trick her into giving up the baby for adoption. And the adoption agency is right next door to the maternity home. So now the baby goes to the adoption agency. Now the adoption agency now sells to an orphanage in Romania, as an example, ran by somebody like Erika Kirk or Lori Franzwe, okay? So the orphanage raises the baby up to a preteen. Then when the child is old enough to be blanked, that kid gets blanked by military people that are also in Romania. Okay. So now the tadpole, I'm using tadpole for child. The child is now, traumatized by the military people. And then when they get traumatized enough and get programmed themselves to be this for the rest of their lives, because they're like, okay, this is just who I am. Then they end up going back to America and listen to this right here. They become models or actresses.
The other day, trying to make sense of Erika Kirk's New York City real estate career, wondering how Erika was put in charge.
All right, hold on, listen.
I was watching Candace Owens the other day, trying to make sense of Erika Kirk's New York City real estate career, wondering how Erika was put in charge of a group of Romanian models when she has no prior real estate experience. I used to be a madam. I ran a high-end escort agency in Manhattan. I'm just the right person to add some perspective on this. Back in the day, I employed hundreds of signed models. In fact, many of them were from Eastern European countries.
Eastern European countries like Romania.
I normally worked with women who were in their mid-20s, so by the time most of these women had reached the interview with me, they were already considered old by modeling standards.
So the exploitation is they are done over here and then shipped over here to be a young model, right? And they get ran through by all these rich men. And then when the women age out because they don't want them anymore, they end up going to this woman, a madam, and now she's a full-blown escort. All right. So what happened allegedly with Melania, because I'm talking about the president's wife, so I don't want no problems out of Trump. What happened with Melania, she was getting ran through by all of these different people, and Donald Trump fell in love with her. I guess the coochie was good, and he made her his wife. Right here, like I said again.
Came out and made the statement she did is because a book is being released in the United Kingdom in 2 days, where there's interviews and pieces from interviews where Epstein and Prince Andrew discuss how they were both fucking Melania before she was passed on to Donald, and how they were all shocked when he married a paid-for whore.
So, and next thing you know, but if they don't end up like Melania, they end up working with this woman who is a madam when they age out.
Women told me stories of being picked up from their home country, recruited in their teens, being groomed, being brought to New York, put in small apartments, given limited money, and then being forced to go on potential fashion jobs, potential bookings, go-sees, whatever they're called. They would get to some of these, and some of the expectation was that they do schmexual favors, that they had to sleep with people in order to get booked. Now, a lot of times they did these things and they still didn't get booked. By the time they were interviewing with me many years later, they would tell me all of these stories. They actually would say to me, we want to make money off of this because we're already used to this world. We've been exploited for a decade. Yep. Now we want to take our power back. I know that sounds weird, but many of them thought of working for me as taking their power back from an industry that had robbed them of their childhood and all of their power. I understood this is what fashion.
Because now they want to get paid for it. If I'm getting ran through by all these rich men, I might as well get paid. Oh my God. Somebody said, what is a coochie? I said, it's a vagina, sir. It's a vagina. And I said coochie. I didn't say coochie. I said coochie. That is a vagina. Oh my God.
Is about. Now, I would think someone like Erika Kirk, who has risen to the title of Miss Arizona, who has years and years of fashion experience, that she understood this too, because there is no possible way that a man didn't approach you asking you to get the girls to do him some kind of favor. That is 100% the norm in that world. In fact, it is even the norm in politics, because I've been working in politics now for 16 years. When I first started, many men asked me if I still had girls. Many men, the hosts of TV networks, political advisors, candidates, elected officials would ask me, do you still have girls? Can you send some to my house? Can you do a party for me? Can you put some at my event? That was the norm. Even though I left that world behind, that was still the request. Maybe that's just how men are. Maybe that's just how men with power are. But I think Erika Kirk would know this, since she's been running in powerful circles and trying to clout chase, I don't know, for decades.
So, to go a little farther, and somebody said, what mother will give up her own child? Do I really need to answer this? What mother would give up her own child? Do you know how many abortions there are per year? I'll say it again. Do you know how many abortions? You talking about give up. What about get rid of? Do you know how many abortions happen per year? Let's look it up. How many abortions happen every year? What are you talking about? 1.1 million a year. What are you talking about? What mother would give up her own child? Are you crazy? Over 1 million abortions happen every single year. They don't give a damn. What are you talking about? What mother would give up her own child? Is against her natural biology? 1 million abortions happen every year. Not just this year, not just last year, not just 2 years ago, every year. Do you know that beats gang violence? Do you know that beats black on black crime? Do you know there's more abortions than there are of men that are ex-murderers? You can put in car accidents, plane crashes, ex-murderers, gang violence, and put them all together, and it will not be nowhere near how many abortions happen every year. That is the gang violence. You want to talk about gang violence? You want to talk about black on black crime? You want to talk about car accidents? You want to talk about the war? Abortions. What are you talking about? What mother would? Are you crazy? They do more than give up their child. They get rid of their child. What are you talking about? Oh my God. But y'all gonna be like, let me go. Let me be quiet. Let's keep going. Are you crazy? They don't give a damn. Ugh, they don't give a damn.
X account. Just her replies to Melania Trump. Her first post was my video.
So just to bring everything back around to Amanda Ungaro, because this is the whistleblower. So
talking about her replies to Melania Trump and how Melania Trump's press conference was likely to do with what she knows and what she might be about to release. And it seems we might be onto something here, folks. What I have found is that Amanda Ungaro has been working with Anthony Andrews and using this X account to post her story, what she knows, some of her evidence with some of the most bombshell stuff.
This just in, a new way of healing is sweeping the country, and it's a card game called Like Mother, Like Daughter. This game is powerful.
My favorite question was, if you could parent me all over again, what would you change? This card game has a mother deck and a daughter deck, so we both have questions for each other.
These are some good questions. Do you think I'm a people pleaser? If so, where did I get this trait from?
This card game actually helped my marriage, and the questions showed me that I still had unresolved issues with my mom, and I was taking them out on my husband.
If you don't do anything else, buy this card game. You won't regret it. Click the link below.
Like mother, like daughter, we are the same. You'll see when we play this game.
She gets on Twitter and was like, Melania, I know you're not.
Hold on. And this is the reason why I push this card game so much, because we have to heal from within. We have to heal from what our mothers and fathers, but mainly mothers, have made us feel unwanted. Like some of y'all have been adopted. You can play this card game. If you know your adopted mom. I dated a woman that was in a foster care system and she survived it. We have to heal from our mother wounds. Okay. And the main people who have mother wounds are women and not men. Men do also, but not necessarily like women, because sadly, the average woman, and y'all let me know if I'm wrong for saying this, the average woman wants a little boy and not a little girl. And y'all let me know if I'm wrong for saying that. The average woman wants a little boy and not a little girl. So a lot of little girls have been treated badly, negatively, or straight up neglected due to the fact that their mother wanted a little boy and not a little girl. And y'all say right or wrong if that's true or not. What do you think? So there's a lot of little girls that grew up feeling neglected. They grew up being emotionally abused. They grew up being physically abused. They grew up being verbally abused due to the fact that their mother wanted a little boy. And because I got daughters, and I don't want a little boy. I want a little girl. All right, I wanted a little girl. So what happens is a lot of women have mother wounds, and they take out their mother wounds on other people, the men they date, their own daughters themselves. So you could play this with your own daughter, because you have no idea what you may or may not be inadvertently instilling in your own kid, you know? So, and yes, I'm coming out with a mother-son card game also, and a father-son card game also. But I'm trying to put together an app so I can put everything together in one marketplace. So, yeah, I'm just here to try to help break cycles, you know? So, yeah. But that's not for all women. That's not for all women.
The remaining 3 million plus Epstein files still have not been released.
So Trump got this friend, right? And his homeboy was like, hey, my baby mama's a bitch. Deport her ass. So apparently he did that favor and deported her. She is not taking it lightly. She gets on Twitter and was like, Melania, I know you're not playing with me, bitch. Not with all that I know. Not with all that I know. We done known each other for 20 years. And you finna handle me like that? Bet money. You know when somebody say bet money.
Don't bet money.
Don't bet any money. She even added Pam Bundy. Saying, are you aware of what I know? Because the way y'all handling me, it's like you don't know what I know. And that's dangerous for you, because I don't care anymore. And then she attached a couple of pictures to let them know, like, I'm not playing. So then when I saw what Trump posted, I was like, it makes sense. I'm not going to show it to you, but he apparently posted a video of a woman being last night when all of this was going down. Like the Iranians say, this is an Epstein war. He's trying to hide behind the fact that all of the nefarious things that they've done to children and to women, and I know to men and boys, right? By starting this war to get them to open the Hormuz Strait when that hole was already open. If you want to read the tweets, you know, and you're not on Twitter, you can go to Here's Why, Kevin. But I knew sis wasn't playing around when I saw that M dash. I said, this is a bitch that is serious. M dash.
Amanda Ungaro continues to attack Melania Trump and threaten her and her husband, the president. Listen to this. She says, we'll take action against you and your child-admiring husband. I have known you for 20 years. You knew I was detained in ICE. You were present in my life. Every year on my son's birthday, even sending Secret Service and being the first to congratulate him in 2016. Something was clearly wrong, but I'm not a part of any evil mission involving children. So what did you do, Melania? You tried to involve me, but you failed because I have character. And she continues, I have nothing left to lose in life. I will tear down every system. Be careful with me, B. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I'm not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, who you are, and who your husband is. Y'all, she just keeps coming at her, and I can't help but think maybe this is a part of why Melania had this press conference allegedly, and why she may be allegedly scared. What do you guys think? This video is all allegedly for entertainment purposes only, no facts, none of this is real.
This message is for Miss Melania, and if you're not Miss Melania, that is fine, because you're gonna want to sit down and watch this anyway. Hey girl, so I know you said this.
I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties.
And I know you said this too.
My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, victim statements, or FBI interviews surrounding the Epstein matter.
And that's absolutely crazy because I found a file this morning that says differently.
All right, let me put this on a big screen so y'all can read it if y'all would like to. This is a lot, so I'm not just going to read this, but y'all can screenshot it so y'all can read it yourselves. It's a little fuzzy, so I'm not going to read all this, but this is one of the redacted forms from the EpiPen files. So screenshot this, or either you could read it for yourself right here. Y'all got it? Okay. Because y'all love to say, I didn't see it. You didn't put it on the big screen. So I'm trying to listen to my my audience.
The Amanda Ungaro interview has dropped. I am going to post the entire thing at the end of this video. I thought that would be easier than you trying to find the link for it, especially since it's originally in Spanish. She is incredibly brave to do this. I know that she has another interview with CNN on Monday. So I'm hoping that's going to be video and we get to see her speak, and I'm hoping other outlets will reach out to her. She deserves to have her story told. So
Purple Butterfly says we're grown adults and can handle the facts. Bring it out. No, a lot of the people in the chat are triggered, and I respect them for being triggered because, you know, you had different, life events than I did. So I understand, and I'm here to give you guys grace, but it's been people in the chat just going crazy about different things because this is a triggering conversation, which I understand, but no, we can't just say we're grown adults, we can handle it. Some of the people in the chat, they're having trouble handling it. So that's all I'm saying. It's a lot.
Say that one on here, I guess, and physics.
Give it a second. Just showing the different documents right here.
I was living at the mercy of a sick psychopath who abused me psychologically. Can't say that one on here, I guess, and physically. I asked many people for help. No one ever helped me. But I couldn't leave without my son, and he would not sign the authorization. This comes from.
And if anybody wants me to read something or wants me to see something, you got to put in the super chat. Some of you are trying to get my attention. You got to put your comment in the super chat and I'll read it.
Amanda Ungaro's new interview that just came out just tonight in El País. She says, "Now it's war. We'll see who wins. I kept quiet for years, and because of that, people judge me, and they ask, why are you speaking now? Because the man would not let me live in peace." She said it was not enough for him to destroy her during the 20 years of their relationship. He wanted to destroy her again when she started her new life. Amanda details her arrest where 10 police officers storm her home, arrest her. She winds up getting put into a cell with child unalivers. She claims no wrongdoing from the charges that were filed by anonymous tips. Then when Zampoli learns that she's in custody, what does he do? He calls a senior ICE official, asks that she would remain jailed and be deported, allowing him to secure the custody of the child that they share. ICE complied with Zampoli's request, and surprise, surprise, he denies any wrongdoing. He stressed that in any case, she would have been deported because of the other charges against her. Which, I wonder who those anonymous tips came from, Paolo. She goes on.
And I want to say this. This is the other side of getting or exploiting models or potential models from other countries. A lot of them are here either undocumented or halfway undocumented. So when they grow up, they don't know any better. Their visas are expired or their paperwork isn't correct. and they have a kid by the woman that has issues with her visa. And next thing you know, yeah, she was only 16 when she was on Jeffrey's plane. And next thing you know, you married a woman or you have a baby by the woman, and the second the woman starts acting up, all you gotta do is get her deported. And that's how evil all of this is. Imagine having a pre-installed weapon. A pre-installed weapon. So you get with this woman from another country. You know Donald Trump. We're talking about Zampoli. You're cool with Donald Trump. And then all of a sudden, you and your woman starts having issues and she wants to break up with you. And she wants custody of the child. She wants to put you on child support. And all you got to do is snap a finger and she's deported. The mother of your child is now deported. That is crazy, bro. That is so freaking crazy.
On to describe the horrific conditions within the detention center where she's stuck for almost 4 months. She then gets taken to Louisiana. She's in a hall with more than 120 people. Floors were wet, no windows. 4 days without seeing the sun, she comes out with lice. They send her to Brazil and she lands there with just her prison uniform, nothing else. She also describes how she exchanged her model visa for a tax-exempt diplomatic passport. At the time, Zampoli preferred that she retain this status because it was more advantageous to him from a tax perspective. He used to tell her, wait for Donald Trump to come into office after the election and we'll sort out your papers and he'll give you an American passport. She also...
Damn. So there's something called a modeling visa. Another way they exploit these women. Hey, we'll give you a modeling visa. That means we can send your ass back when you start acting crazy. That is crazy. That's crazy work.
Describes flying on Lolita Express with Jeffrey Epstein at age 17, and she says that she's on there with around 30 very young girls around 14 to 16 years old. Think about that for a second. He was really shipping 30 girls per flight from Paris to New York.
Damn. And I got one more video to show y'all because I want to get back on to Erika Kirk. Want to get back on to Erika Kirk real quick because he reminded me of something. There's another video I want to play because Erika Kirk was waiting for all those people in New York because of her recruitment skills. Let's get to Erika. Forgot all about
it. 666 if he was a Christian. If he was this unbelievable Christian man, why is there endless photos out there of him doing sketchy hand gestures? Why would he be doing this all the time, do you think? And we've all seen this, the Freemason symbol. When you see them doing this with their hands, that's what that represents. Do you ever just stand like that, let alone pose for a photo?
What do y'all think about Charlie Kirk? Do y'all think Charlie Kirk had a lot to do with all this stuff too? Because he does be holding up that hand signal all the time. What do you think about Charlie Kirk?
Photo. Oh, and by the way, while we're looking at this, 3 stars with 3 different colors, 33. And I'm not even going to get into how easy it is to find hidden 33s in everything mainstream that they show us, or how bad they are at hiding their 3 6s. And I don't care what they tell us about his stupid fucking ring. This is impossible. I'm sorry. Stop listening to Candace Owens because she's controlled opposition and she's playing a role. Now let's take a closer look at this alleged fishing trip between 2 friends. Does that look normal to you? Or does this look like AI messed up a little bit and they thought we wouldn't notice? Does that look normal, her finger going through the fin? And this one right here, this is the only picture I could find of Charlie out in public with one of his kids. Because you realize the only pictures that exist of him and his kids are ones that they wanted taken. There are no...
And Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk do not have children together. I'll say it again. Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk do not have children together. Those are not their children. They don't have children together.
No pictures taken by random people. And you get that that would be completely impossible, right, given how big Charlie was. And if you actually just look at the picture, it doesn't even make sense, because why is his arm underneath the overalls or dress or whatever that is? Why is it going around his arm like that? Because it's AI, and so is most of the things that you see every single day. By the way, this is also not a real person.
This is a Mossad agent. This is a Mossad asset. What's the difference, you might ask? Let me tell you. An agent works for an intel agency and is on their payroll, while an asset provides information but doesn't necessarily even always know that they're an asset. And then you have the former agent turned asset who used to be privy to information but now just provides information. And then you have the duos, the agent and asset duos. So Lori Francevay is an agent, and then Erika is an asset. And I don't know who the original creator of this little chart is, but you have a little Mossad chain. That's Robert Maxwell in the middle. And then that is his lawyer and confidant. And then here his stepson is the former Secretary of State.
So what she's saying is Erika Kirk is an asset and Erika Kirk's mother was an agent. All right. That is the difference between those two. And I totally agree.
So that's a former agent, a former asset, a current asset. Some other agents may or may not include Steve Bannon, Steve Witkoff, Jack Posobiec, and some other possible assets or jobs.
Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
And I'm going to play the like button song in a minute.
Joshua Kushner, his Jared Kushner's tech brother, formerly Andrew Breitbart, and Michael Anton. These people are all connected in unique ways. A lot of crossover that may not mean anything, but at least shows a long-term connection. So Michael Anton, Ben Shapiro, and Jack Posobiec were all fellows at the Claremont Institute. Michael Anton is a former managing partner at BlackRock, director of policy planning for Trump, and speechwriter for Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch is all through the Epstein files of attending events with the same. I've talked about this group of people over and over. Roman Abramovich, he's the former owner of Chelsea soccer team and a Russian-Israeli oligarch. He's in the Kabad. His wife, Dasha Zukova, her mother is now married to Rupert Murdoch.
Yes, Iran released a video exposing Charlie, how he was killed, exposing. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday. Put a 1 in the chat if you did not see my live stream from yesterday. Put a 1 in the chat if you did not see my live stream from yesterday, because I talked about that also.
Rupert Murdoch's ex-wife, who's also friends with all of them, dated Putin, and they're all friends with Ivanka and Jared. Almost every single person that I've listed has been either connected to the military, connected to Harvard, connected to the Kabad, or two of the three, all three. Personally, I think that the military and Harvard are just the top two places for Mossad recruitment.
The Charlie Kirk Show is now literally registered as a foreign agent, allegedly.
Okay, the Charlie Kirk Show was, and still is, run by a group called the Salem Podcast Network, leading us to...
Shout out to Jason Lee. He makes amazing content. Shout out to Jason Lee. And the young lady from a long time ago, I just wanted to reiterate, the young lady that I was using earlier, her content, her name was Becca Day, Bekah Day on TikTok, Becca Day.
To the next bit of investigating, which is who runs?
I didn't say James Lee, did I? James Lee? What did I say? Did I say James Lee? Or did I say something else?
The Salem Media Group. Early last year, it was announced that the Salem Media Group appointed a guy by the name of Brad Parscale as their chief strategy officer. But guess what else he is? A foreign agent.
Oh, sorry, James Lee. Sorry, I don't know what I said, but James Lee. What's up, Peacock?
Shout out to Americans for Nonprofit Transparency.org for this great piece of investigative reporting. They have uncovered Salem Media Group and Brad Parscale's undisclosed foreign agent role. Quote, according to DOJ FARA filing 7649, Brad Parscale owns and operates Clock Tower X LLC, a registered foreign agent for the government of Israel. Here is the official paperwork, name of registrant, Clock Tower X LLC, registration number 76.
So what he's essentially saying is the Charlie Kirk show is owned by the blue and white state, i.e. IHOP. The Charlie Kirk show is owned by this company called Clock Tower, and they are IHOPian or blue and white country owner.
649, name of foreign principal, State of Israel, currency.org for this great piece. They have uncovered Salem Media Group and Parscale's foreign agent role. Quote, according to DOJ FARA filing 7649, Brad.
I don't know why it's messing up. Sorry.
It still is run by a group called the Salem Podcast Network, leading us to the next bit of investigating, which is who runs the Salem Media Group. Early last year, it was announced that the Salem Media Group appointed a guy by the name of Brad Parscale as their chief strategy officer. But guess what else he is? A foreign agent. Shout out to Americans for Nonprofit Transparency.org for this great piece of investigative reporting. They have uncovered Salem Media Group and Brad Parscale's undisclosed foreign agent role. Quote, according to DOJ FARA filing 7649, Brad Parscale owns and operates Clock Tower X LLC, a registered foreign agent for the government of Israel. Here is the official paperwork. Name of registrant, Clock Tower X LLC, registration number 7649, name of foreign principal, State of Israel, address 9 Yitzhak Rabin Boulevard, Jerusalem, Israel, country represented, Israel, and executed by one Bradley Parscale, dated.
And real quick, we're at 12 card games sold. Thank y'all so much. Can we get to 20? If you are a husband, if you are a mother, make sure to get your card game. Can we get to 20? We got 12 card games sold. Can we get to 20? Maybe. Hit the link in the chat. Hit the link under this video. The link is under this video also. Get your mother-daughter card game. There are 2 decks. There's a mother deck and a daughter deck. So the mother can ask the daughter questions and the daughter can ask the mother questions. Get your card game. Can we get the 20 card games sold today? And thank you to the people who have bought card games. We got 12 people that bought card games thus far. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh my God, dated September 18th, 2025. Holy moly, could that be why they killed Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk, if we remember, was assassinated on September 10th, 2025, which is just 8 days prior to this FARA registration. Okay, this is very interesting and also very sus that Clock Tower X, which is Brad Parscale's firm, had a contract with the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs that was upped in December, which is 2 months after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and includes a delivery of monthly updated audience segmentation and sentiment analysis, including Gen Z and other US demographic groups. And also as a part of that contract, Parscale's firm is also integrating pro-Israel messaging into the Salem Media.
Okay, he's saying that word, he's saying that name way too much. I got to move on. Oh, this is going to be something. I'm gonna talk about this later. This is way too much. So I'm gonna end the show here because that's way too much. So I got to do a whole nother video because that right there is just too much. I don't want to give y'all an information overload, but that gives y'all an understanding of how deep rooted all of this is. So if you have not already subscribed to my channel, and if you like this show, make sure to subscribe because I'll be back tomorrow to do the rest of that video right there because that one gets so far in the weeds. I don't want to get off the conversation that we're having today. So, and for those of you who did not watch the videos that I did for the last couple days, they are bangers. So I'm going to drop the link to that playlist right here. All right, so let me do this. I'm dropping a link right now, y'all, so give me 1 second. What's happening? Okay. All right. Boom. Okay. So I need everybody to check out this playlist. It is absolutely crazy. And it's information that nobody else on YouTube has been talking about. So I need everybody watching, click this playlist right now. Let me know if y'all see this playlist that I just dropped in the chat. Click that playlist, get up out of here, click the playlist. The show's over. That playlist is fire. So I'm dropping the playlist in the chat. So buy my card game and click that playlist link and go check out my Melania Trump and Erika Kirk playlist. It is fire. Go click that playlist. Go click that playlist. And everybody's still here. I'm going to go play the like button songs. Where are we at? Here we go. Click that playlist, y'all.
Everybody hit the like button. 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 If you got something to say, drop it in the comments. Don't be acting afraid. What? Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. If you got something to say, drop it in the comments. Don't be acting afraid. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city. Wet.
I was muted. You are truly smart. You put some things together that Candace is now putting together. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But shout out to Candace. I love Candace.
Drop your city in the chat. What? Drop your city. What? Drop your city in the chat. Drop your city in the chat.
All right. Let's see. Yo, y'all don't talk bad about Candace. I love Candace. Shout out to Candace. But you can have your opinion about Candace. You know, I'm not against that, but you know, we love Candace over here. So click the link that is in the chat. Click that link that is in the chat. Like, subscribe, share. Like, subscribe, share. Buy my card game and click the playlist link that is in the chat. Click the playlist link that is in the chat. It is absolutely fire. Do y'all see the link? Everybody, there's 700 people watching now. Everybody, I need you to, everybody click the playlist link in the chat. Go to the chat and click the playlist link. Let's go. So I'm playing another song and y'all get out of here.
We got along better. Okay.
Why is that not working?
If you had one wish involving us, what would it be? That we got along better. Okay. The day that you told me, like, I was so happy for you, my mindset toward you completely changed. I think after you had her, you realized, like, how hard it is to be a mom. And, like, when you look back at things that maybe, like, made you mad at me, you realize, like, okay, well, that is hard.
Just bought this mother-daughter card game because I came to the realization that my issues with my mom are not resolved, so I decided to do something about it. Just played this card game with my mom and we both literally broke down crying. Here's the card game right here. Buy it. Every woman needs this. You won't regret it.